All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is NFL week number 18. Not every game matters on this slate. Some games are kind of, sit your guys, get ready for the playoff type games. Some games really do matter. So we're doing this week's show for NFL week 18 a little bit differently. I'm not going to go through the entire slate because, like I said, there's a lot of kind of fluff on the board this week, but we do have 6 plays that I'm going to go through individually, talk about, and give you guys, and those are the final plays. So no need to keep an eye on the pinned comment for the final plays. These are going to be the final plays right here in the video. But guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. I know we still have playoff football and et cetera, Super Bowl, but I do want to say thank you for the NFL season. Like, this was a booming NFL season for the channel. We had a really, really successful NFL season as well, picking up over 20 units. It's not over yet. We'll keep trying to crush the playoffs, but I do appreciate all of the engagement in this sport so far and thus far into the NFL season. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the first game that we're looking at. It is going to be a Saturday game here, and looking at the late one, we got the Colts taking on the Texans. And my play here, I think this is going to be, we'll go half unit on this one, but we're going to be looking at the over 47 here in the Indianapolis and Houston game. Now, I like the over here just because both of these teams really are fighting to get into the playoffs, right? But what is it that both these teams have started to do, better than one side of the ball, which is play offense, score some points. Neither one of these teams, the Colts for a hot second there look like they may be able to hang their hat on defense, but no, when they've won games, they've won them by scoring points. And same thing with Houston. Now, Houston's offense, with Stroud being banged up and everything, has been a little CJ Stroud should be playing this week, which is obviously good news for them. They do have a few wide receiver injuries, obviously, but nonetheless, I still think that points is the goal for both teams here. That is how they're going to kind of get their way into potential playoff spots. So give me the over 47 in this spot. Again, we're gonna throw a half unit on that because at some point, say Houston gets up or Indianapolis gets up, there is going to be a level of let's play a little conservative so that we can make sure we don't make any dumb mistakes or anything like that to try and end up hurting our playoff chances. So that's why we're not going full unit. But for play number 1 here, our only Saturday play, we are looking at the over 47 in this spot. Next up, we're looking at the Titans and the Jaguars game. Only one of these teams cares about the outcome of this game. The Titans already mathematically eliminated, right? 5-17 up to this point in the season, whereas the Jaguars sitting at 9-7. If they win, they go to the playoffs. If they lose, it's going to be pretty damn tough for them to get there. So, especially with the two teams that we just talked about, right? So I do think that this is going to be a game that matters a hell of a lot for the Jaguars. I like them, but we are going to take an alternate spread line here. So we're paying a little bit of juice. I get that some people may not be comfortable with that, but we're going to go full unit here on the Jaguars -3. Right now, you can get that at -140 over on DraftKings. So, yes, we're paying a little bit of juice, but that's a lot more safe than looking at them -4, in my opinion, because if there's one thing we can kind of give Tennessee a little bit of credit for, it's that when they do kind of get up, they can kind of roll and keep a game very either narrow or, even when they're catching losses, I guess. They lost 19-16 against Houston. They lost 20-17 against Seattle. They lost 31-28 against the Colts. So they're good, as weird as it is, as bad of a season as they've had. They're good at keeping their losses pretty close. So I don't want to get bit on the ass with that -4 price tag when we could, at least have a push if this is a 3-point game at that -3. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming in here ready to win. They know they need to win. Trevor Lawrence is questionable. If he's a go, great. I know Beathard also had a little bit of a shoulder snag. He's probable, so they're going to have at least one of those guys. I don't think that's going to necessarily matter. I think that they do kind of what they did last week to the Panthers and have a pretty, dare I say, dominant performance in this spot. So give me the Jags -3. Again, -140 over on DraftKings. If that gets too juicy near like -150, maybe you don't roll with it. But as of right now, the value we're getting on Friday evening, I don't hate that whatsoever. So pick number 2 is going to be Jacksonville -3 points. And by the way, guys, before we get to the rest of the picks in today's video, make sure to check out Sleeper. They have tons of promo squares for new users going on right now. They have a CJ Stroud 0.5 passing yards, a Josh Allen 0.5 passing yards, and they'll match your deposit up to $500. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you put in $500, they'll literally give you $500 free dollars, new account balance of $1,000 in your account. It's It's an absolute no-brainer, guys. You could put in 50 and they'll match it as well. It doesn't have to be the big old deluxe 500. Go check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment. Again, new users, multiple free squares to choose from. Next up, a very similar situation here. You have a team that, needs to win to make it to the playoffs, and you have the Tampa Bay Bucks, who I like what I've seen out of them recently. They did have the bad game last week, so I get it if you're of recency bias here and you don't really want to buy into the potentialities of this game, but they're playing the Panthers. You could not dream up a better spot for this Bucks team and a better matchup for them to kind of, punch their ticket into the playoffs. But we're not looking at that -4.5 spread. I'm actually going to buy or go up Alti-Ev style here to -6.5 for +116 odds. Full unit. I know it might be a little crazy, but I do think if the Bucks win this game, it'll be by 7 points or by like 1 point, in which that 4.5 wouldn't have mattered anyways, right? So I think that 4.5 is a little obsolete in my brain, so might as well go up to that touchdown winning number there and grab -6.5 for +116. And again, they need this to get into the playoffs. If they lose, they literally are out. But if they win, they literally, I guess not literally, some things could happen, but they are in the playoffs, and they have such a good matchup here. We just saw Jacksonville, the team we just talked about, right? And I used the word dominate. They dominated Carolina. You're telling me that this Bucks team isn't going to be able to do the same thing? The Bucks offense has looked a lot better than the Jacksonville offense has as of late. Now, if you have the recency bias for last week, then sure, 13 points against New Orleans in a bad loss, losing by double digits, I get it. But prior to that, they went 29 points, 30 points, 34 points. Like, this offense was clicking, and I expect them to click in the final regular season game of the year. The second play here, and I really like this one, we're gonna go Tampa Bay team total over 20.5 for even odds, +100. They just played Carolina here 5 weeks ago or so and dropped 21 on them, and this is a spot where I think the Bucks should be fired the hell up to come out and play some good football, especially offensively. So I like them to score 3 touchdowns or make their way to 21 plus points to some degree here. So got 2 plays in this game. And again, it's kind of like the season's resting on the shoulders of Baker Mayfield and company. So I like that spot, especially going against Carolina. But 2 plays going in this one game. All right, next up, and I talked about this one. This is my first pick on H2H, the show that I do with Tassos on the channel here. Patriots money line. This is going to be a gross, snowy game playing the Jets, but the Patriots are at home, and this could be Bill Belichick's see you later game, whether or not he's going to be involved next year, that type of thing. And it's against the Jets. Like, Bill Belichick, of all teams that he doesn't want to lose to, it is his former employer, in which he resigned on a napkin, the Jets, right? So this just has all the stars aligning for the Patriots. Now, I'm a Patriots fan. I hate that we're rolling with this, because if the Patriots win this game, they go from the number 2 or 3 pick to potentially the 7th or 8th, which is oh my God, that would be absolutely killer. And only somehow the Patriots would figure out a way to not have that top draft pick, right? But I think that, if we're just looking at this from a betting perspective, you got to consider the Patriots here. Again, it's against the Jets, a good matchup in a good sort of cap off the season with a win for Bill Belichick, as wins still matter to him, especially if he's not going to be here next year. He's not going to think, okay, let's get some young guys in there so we can pretty much lose the game on purpose. No, he'll go balls to the wall. So give me the Patriots on the money line. That's -125 right now over on Caesars. All right, and then the last spot we like for this week is going to be Green Bay money line. Similar to what we just talked about with the Patriots taking the Jets on, this is a Green Bay in Lambeau taking on the Bears, right? And it's okay, well, this is a game that I guess, matters a hell of a lot to the Packers. If they win, they're most likely in, right? Bears, they don't care about this game. They might lose. Now, to be honest, it's not like their draft pick, yes, they do have their own draft pick, but the Panthers draft pick is more important to them. So the Bears can go out there and try and compete, but they're just not as good as the Packers. And I do think that this is a Packers team that's kind of come along during the season. If you were to ask me in week 4, maybe even, week 4-ish, would the Packers make the playoffs? I'd say hell no. And now look at them. Literally, if they make this mathematically via NFL.com, 99% chance to get in, right? In the AFC North there. So I do think that this is a good spot for them, playing a team team that, you know, they do have that sort of rivalry with, and they're at home. It's probably going to be freezing cold. Not that that's going to matter to either team. You know, they're both used to playing in the cold, but yeah, I just like this spot here. The Packers own. Now, a lot of this is Aaron Rodgers timing, but they own the Bears. 9 straight wins against the Bears here in their last 9 games, obviously, and they've covered in each and every one of those. So, like, that's worth mentioning, right? But guys, that is going to wrap for this week, week number 18. Let me know in the comments if you like this type of just me giving you my picks rather than going through the whole slate. I personally like the longer videos going through the entire slate, being able to talk about each and every game because I love talking sports. I love getting your opinions, right? But this may be more efficient, so let me know. We'll consider it. Obviously, for next year in the playoffs, we'll probably do more focused types of videos as we go into the playoffs. But yeah, definitely stuff to consider for next year, so let me know in the comments. Also, drop an 11 in the comments if you made it this far into the video. And again, I say thank you so damn much for all of the support and engagement and all that this season in the NFL. It's a blast. We're not stopping here, obviously. Still, we have the playoffs to go, but this regular season definitely feels like a feather at the channel's cap because, you know, we put in a lot of work, but kind of showed that work pays off, right? So hopefully you guys do enjoy this video and all the other ones. We'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.